Were you aware of that?
Are you? Well, you weren't aware of the palms.
Are you aware of that? Are you aware of what I'm saying?
You're not aware of the particular.
Chris, are you aware of what I just told you?
Okay, your argument then is that you reject the dating of the.
No, not me personally. The scholars.
He's not even making
the scholars.
What are you even arguing about?
The scholars.
No. So do you accept what those say?
Listen carefully, firstly.
Do you accept what they say?
Carefully, Chris. So now tell me, on the radiocarbon dating,
falling off a cliff I've ever seen.
Radiocarbon dating, can we take the date in the middle?
Why are you obsessed with it?
Can we take it in the middle?
You can take the date at any point between the two ranges.
Even the middle, yeah?
That's why he wants to make girls.
Yeah.
You take an average, that's
right. So, good. So now this is what I'm learning from you, is this?
And you know how that relates to my argument.
Sorry, I'll tell you why. So now Chris is telling us we can have a date in the middle, or even an average, to take the debate. Now, according to the scholars, what is the probability of that date being correct if it's exactly in the middle, average? Give me a probability.
My point is that you only accept the carbon dating as a probability term from that metric alone of the dating of that particular object.
Do you know what a binomial distribution is?
Do you know quantum? Mate, I can ask you.
Do you know it? Do you know? Do you know?
When was Uthman's copy? When was Uthman's copy? Tell me the year.
Okay, let me now show it to you.
Don't get
Wait. Do you know what this is, right?
Yes.
This is a curve described as what?
Standard deviation.
Right, standard deviation.
Right, okay, thank you.
What is the probability that a particular data can wait.
Do you know the extremes of a standard deviation? Do you understand this?
I'm going to ask you a question, right?
Good. Why are you asking me questions? Why don't you just debate me?
Is the radiocarbon dating using this principle?
You understand?
Do we radiocarbon date manuscript using this principle?
What I understand is this.
Answer the question.
You can take any range.
Can you answer the question?
I literally am, but you don't like my answer.
Can we use this principle first of all?
You can if you want. You can if you want.
Okay, good.
But you can also
take the point.
Any date between the early and the ending date. That's one metric for the dating of the object.
Okay,
you understand?
No, I don't. Let me tell you why I don't. Let me tell you why I don't. If you understood anything about stats and this binomial distribution curves, wait.
I don't know.
It is.
Right, okay. Precisely. I gave you the 2 dates, which you've forgotten.
Wait.
Anyway. I have not started.
What is the probability?
Because it's an unfair.
Okay. It's okay, brother. So just Chris. What of a actual date of a manuscript falling at the middle? Probability from 0% to 100%.
I don't know that. All I need
to
know is the dates that are given, or the probability that falls within those dates.
Excuse me.
So you can take a point within those dates and it's acceptable in scholarship.
Right.
Now,
I am saying.
Chris, listen. No, this is my argument. You have confused my argument.
You are incredibly rude.
Oh, am I? Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. Carry on.
So the problem is the Uthmanic copy. When Uthman translates the Quran into a Qurayshi dialect, it's relevant. The problem is, and I've said it for times now, the dating when Islam says that happened falls outside this range. Do you understand? That's a problem because that means you had Qurans that were compiled before the Uthmanic Codex. This is why Islamic scholars will basically say this is a problem. We don't want to say that this came before the Uthmanic period because otherwise we have to say that Quran existed before Uthman's time. That's the issue.
Okay, Chris. Can I respond
to his amazing?
Can I respond?
No. There is an attack on my character.
Okay, listen.
Asking me a question.
Now, listen, Chris. Principle of radiocarbon dating.
Principle of oh my God. Answer the
question. What I've said.
Are you going to allow me to respond?
What I say? Do you reject what I said?
Is he now rude? Interrupt. Would you call him rude? Would you call him rude?
You are
Look at the double standard. Note all of that. Look at the double standard. He would not call him rude. Thank you, Chris.
You barrage him with questions.
Steve,
don't even give him a chance.
Now we know which side you're on.
You refuse to answer any.
Now I'm going to answer. I'm going to answer. Don't interrupt.
Do you want to listen now?
Don't interrupt.
Do you want to listen to me now?
No.
Don't interrupt. You don't give him a
So
chance.
because you say, because
You don't answer any of his
see you
questions.
later. So now
don't
you're saying,
answer any of his
in
questions.
relation to the question,
Try answering some of his questions. Try answering some of his questions, man.
Too much noise.
Don't be so arrogant.
Right.
Try answering a question.
You asked.
Don't answer questions.
You asked in relation to the question that I asked you, right? Remember the question I asked you.
I made
So,
an argument.
okay, your argument is
Yes, okay.
because
Yeah.
this dating
Yes.
falls outside the
Yes.
range
Yes.
that Islamic tradition says when.
So I'm just going to. I'm agreeing
That's
with
called
this.
positive.
I don't want you to.
affirmation.
I want you to
Okay,
be
I was doing it to
listening.
encourage you. All right.
Basic.
I don't want your encouragement.
Basic.
Thank
Well,
you.
you're having difficulty saying it.
Oh yes. Oh, difficulty. So
this is
because your argument is this, because the dating range falls outside the time earlier than even the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
That's not my argument.
Listen, okay.
That's not my argument.
Because the dating falls outside the range when traditionally the Uthmanic manuscript is believed to have been written, Islamic scholars having a doubt about it and responding differently. My counter response is, who cares about Islamic scholarship? We are interested in, listen, we are interested in, we are
Who cares about Islamic scholars?
we are interested in what exactly scholars and experts on the subject say. So if you have a
There are Islamic experts, right?
why are you interrupting
there are
me?
Islamic
No,
experts.
why are you interrupting me?
learning from you.
Why are you interrupting me?
Because
Don't be rude. No, I don't want you to.
That's an interrupt.
Patient and listen, don't interrupt. Okay? Be civilized.
long
Right,
as you
thank
do
you.
the same.
Thank you.
Promise?
So now
Pinky promise?
we have
promise?
people.
You
You're not helping. You're making noise. I don't want you to speak. No, I want you to speak. Thank you.
is the most irritating.
Right, right. So what I'm saying is this, please, no talking, thank you.
I don't think
So,
anyone can
scholars have given their response on the datings, which perhaps you didn't know. Did they talk about, let me ask you now in return, did they talk about, do we need to look at the labs that dated it? How accuracy, how precise, two things, accuracy and precision. Wait, I'm not finished. When I finish, you answer. Accuracy and precision of the dating, right? Accuracy and precision of the data. And the quality control standards that we have in those labs. If this is the case, what dating do they favor scientifically because of the issues at hand? Not because, oh, traditional dating of Uthmanic manuscript is a different date, so we must now somehow do. No, I'm talking about the dating itself using radiocarbon dating principles. So when I asked you, you said, let me finish.
You haven't actually made the point.
When we have a binomial distribution or a unimodal, bimodal, whatever distribution, let me get a clarification from you.
Doesn't solve the issue.
Wait, it does, I'll tell you why. Because that demonstrates how much you know about the subject matter. So, what is the probability of a data point, like a certain date of a manuscript? Let me finish. I'm not finished. I want you to hear my question. Okay, I want you to listen to the question and then answer, right?
You're talking about
So, say this is a date range of a Quranic manuscript, right? Listen, I don't want you to say anything. I want you to listen. Imagine that is the dating of the Birmingham manuscript, a date range.
What dates?
Wait. Why are you talking when I'm saying don't talk?
Because he's learning.
No, I'm going to let you speak when I finish. Does that make sense to you?
This is how you lead
No. Because I want to ask a specific question without any interruption. Look, hang on.
You're not willing to answer any
So,
specific question.
according to scholars who knows about carbon dating, what is the probability? Listen carefully. What is the probability of a data point, like a range, not a range, a date a particular manuscript was scribed, if they were to take the point here, the middle?
Yeah.
What do you call that point in the middle? No, in the middle of the curve. What it's called?
I didn't take, what do you call it?
Do you know what it is?
I didn't take statistics.
So you don't know anything. Okay, you don't know.
I understand standard deviation.
Yeah. But
I'm not an expert on it.
We're not talking about being expert.
So you don't bring up a graph and like explain the graph.
I didn't say explain the graph. I
You
said
literally were like, what does this mean? What is the probability of this?
So
You don't even know how it relates to the Birmingham portfolio.
Chris, listen.
Okay, what dates the Birmingham portfolio?
Chris, the probability of a data point on the middle. Do you know how much percent is that? Guess.
Yes.
Guess.
33%.
Wrong. Try again. Try. I'll give you 5 points.
Why am I guessing, dude?
Do you know? Do you know?
I've already told you I don't.
So you don't know. So now, so when people, okay,
I literally said I'm not an expert in statistics.
Good. So when people, okay.
So how is that relevant to
I am going to
just said?
Stop. I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
When we radiocarbon date Quranic manuscripts, they fall in this kind of curves.
Okay.
Now, do scholars take a point like in the middle of the 2 dates? You said some scholars do. Yes. Right. I am telling you now and telling everyone else, no scholar, no, hear me word, N-O, no, zilch, zero scholar on planet Earth would take the middle date. Do you know why? You don't know why. Let me tell you now a little bit. Wait, yep. Literally. My argument was you haven't got a clue about radiocarbon dating, and I'm establishing that. The probability
you're talking about standard deviation.
The probability of a date point, a date to fall in the middle is not 100%, it's not 50%.
I don't even know if you reject the actual dating.
Chris, listen, I'm educating you now.
Dude, what is
Dude, I'm educating you.
The actual date?
I am educating you. So let me finish. Let me finish. The probability, listen, let me show you something. The probability a particular manuscript falls within this date, 2 dates, right?
Yeah.
One on the left, on the right, is how much?
I don't know, you tell me.
Do you know?
Is it more probable than not?
Do you know?
Is it more probable than not?
No, I'm asking you the question. Do you know?
It is more probable than not that it falls within the date.
What is the probability?
Why? Because that's the point of radiocarbon dating. Namely, that you give a range based off the amount of carbon. Yes,
when we range it, Chris, now I'm telling you now.
Listen,
when we range...
Explain it to you. I've been doing this.
Be quiet. You're the cameraman.
So listen. Based off
Wait.
You then be able to say with more probability than not that it falls within that date.
When you have this curve, when you have this curve, do you know what 1 sigma and 2 sigma is?
Do I need to know?
Do you know? If you know, you don't.
Okay, so do you know the dates?
Do you know the 1 sigma and 2 sigma?
Dates?
Do you know the 1 sigma and 2 sigma variation?
I've mentioned it many times.
Do you know the 1 sigma and 2 sigma dates?
Do you know the dates given for the Birmingham portfolio?
I am asking you, the 1 sigma, look, okay, read it.
Okay.
He asked you a question.
What does 2 sigma say?
I don't think you know. I think that's the ultimate honesty.
Look,
I think
when we look at, Chris,
deviation.
I don't Google it, my friend. We have a whole paper. We have a whole paper on Islamic awareness.
You're an expert of statistics
Hey, listen, let me tell you. If you go to IslamicAwareness.org, you'll find a paper called Radiocarbon Dating of Quranic Manuscripts. And we laid out all the necessary principles that you need to understand radiocarbon dating. Now,
wait. Do you disagree with the dating?
Next question, Chris. On this point, when we talk about 1 sigma variation and 2 sigma variation, let me tell you what it means. We have this probability of getting this. Let me finish.
So he can look
Let me finish. I'm educating you something that you
tell me within a few minutes. I'm just going to say that you don't know.
Chris.
And on camera, you've been shown
the probability.
Just tell me.
The probability.
Simple. Here's some basic questions for understanding.
The probability.
That's what he's talking about. Number 1.
Chris.
How many surahs and what surahs are there in the Birmingham portfolio? Number 2. When is it dating? The early dating, the late dating for the Birmingham manuscript portfolio? Tell me. Number 3. When was the Uthmanic copy issued? When was it compiled? If you don't know the answer to those questions, you don't know what you're talking about.
Remember the discussion?
You don't know the answer.
The discussion.
Give me an answer. I'll answer.
Okay, Chris.
If you don't do it in 10 seconds, I'm going to say you don't know.
You can say whatever you like, Chris.
No,
Mansur, so the discussion was
shuffled.
Right, Chris. Okay. So the discussion. Okay, thank you. So the discussion was.
You're going to ask me more questions.
I'm going to stick to what I was asking.
No,
so the discussion was. I'm speaking now. I am speaking.
You understand?
I am speaking.
You understand?
Chris, the discussion was whether you know anything about the subject matter of knowledge.
We've identified you don't know lots of
Look. You can identify anything about me, no problem. But the question is, whether you know anything about it.
3 questions. 3 questions.
Can you ask
3 questions?
3 questions. 3 questions. Answer them a question. Understand? Can you understand?
You answer the 3 questions.
Okay. So the probability. Look at the hecklers. The probability. Okay. Don't. I'm answering now.
Oh, you answer.
The probability of any manuscript.
That's not my answer. That's not the questions I asked.
Why interrupt? Why interrupt?
Because you have
I answer the way I like, not the way you like.
He wanted to go about probability.
That's your way.
The probability of any manuscript.
No, that's not what I asked.
Look at this.
Answer the questions I asked. You
Chris,
didn't know what a palimpsest was.
Chris,
You didn't know.
did I say I didn't know?
I had to tell you. You were like, oh,
No.
you tell me, you tell me.
No, did I say I didn't know?
You had to ask
Did
him
I
to
say I didn't know?
I asked him if you could
Did
tell
I
me.
say I didn't know?
Like in the same
Did
way
I
you
say I
refused
didn't
to tell me
know?
now.
Right. So now,
Okay, come on.
Thank
Come
you.
on. Tell me the data.
Chris,
Tell me the data.
Chris,
Tell me
as
the
I'm
data.
establishing,
What is the data?
okay, I'm going to carry on talking anyway if you don't let me answer.
No, if you're not answering,
If you're not
fine.
going to let me
Then
answer,
you
I'm going to
refuse
talk
the debate.
anyway.
Then you have
So I was
lost the
establishing.
debate.
Hang on.
You've lost the debate because you can't
Well done to you. Kudos to you. So now,
It's you who doesn't understand the
okay, you know what?
knowledge,
Good,
not me.
good, good. So now, those of you who are listening, and you, when we talk about radiocarbon dating, the
It's
reasons.
coming up. It's coming up.
Okay, see you
It's
later.
coming up.
See you later.
No.
See you later.
No, see you
No, you see you later. To all those cameras who are watching, right? Okay, bye bye. Okay, bye bye. I don't want to talk to you anymore.
You have not
Okay,
explained
so now I'm going to explain to you, okay, people? Okay.
Answer my question.
So now, when we talk about radiocarbon dating, the reason why we have a curve and ranges is because we want to know the probability of a particular manuscript falling within range. Because when we look at actual dating of...
So do you reject
Excuse me.
the actual
I'm not talking.
dating?
Okay, can we just move forward here? Can we just move forward? And I'm not having a debate with you. I'm not talking to you. Come this way. Carry on. Come carry on. See you later. So now... So what we have is this. When we have radiocarbon dating, we know when you look at the datings, because of the nature of how we establish dating, 2 days plus minus, because when we come to standard deviation, there's always going to be plus this years and minus this number of years. You will always have a distribution curve. The probability of a particular manuscript falling under this range is what we say, does it fall within this range by 95% probability, 66% probability, or 68% probability? We identify these as 1 sigma, 2 sigma variations. So to be precise, when we have 1 sigma variation, it's 68% probability. When we have 3 sigma variations, it's actually 99% probability. What it means is this. A manuscript, we have 99% probability that the date of that manuscript within this range. The more you narrow this range, the probability gets less and less and less and less. So you have 99%, 68%, and so on and so forth. At a point when those individuals who have no knowledge about radiocarbon dating, they said, like his teacher, J. Smith, oh, we'll take the average in the middle. The probability of getting the average in the middle is almost 0%. Almost 0%. That means to say that a particular manuscript can be confidently believed to have been scribed on that date, your probability is almost 0%. That is the level of ignorance these people have. No wonder Muslims in this park, we avoid talking to these egotistical individuals because they have no clue. When I asked him 3 questions only about radiocarbon dating principles, what do we mean by BP dating? Why do we take the year 1950 as a standard? What is the difference between 1 sigma and 2 sigma variations? And do we take the average, mean, the median? Which date do we take? Do you remember what he said? Oh, we can just take any date in the middle. That's what scholars do. No scholar will do that because he would not be a scholar. Everyone will criticize him. He hasn't got a clue what he's talking about. That's scholarship. So recently, this question was put to a scholar called Haytham Sidki by Professor Gabriel Said Reynolds. These people don't learn. So I encourage them to go to his Gabriel Said Reynolds YouTube channel, Exploring the Bible and the Quran, and he answers it there from Haytham Sidki. Clearly, I was going to play the clip, of course it's too noisy. So now we establish the reasons why Muslims boycott certain egotistical individuals. Yeah, they think they know. But the whole world now will know whether these individuals know about the subject matter or not. This debate, initially I wanted to be 5 minutes, only to establish what? That this guy knows about the subject matter. What did I demonstrate? I demonstrated without a shadow of doubt. He did not know any of these, of the subject matter. And this is one subject. If he talks about anything else, you can do the same. This guy thinks he's a hero of the Christians in Speaker's Corner. But the reasons why we don't talk to them is because you're wasting your time with someone who doesn't even know what he's talking about, bananas or potatoes. When you're talking about philosophy and he's talking about banana. Oh, I eat banana because it's so sweet. And when you're talking about philosophy, for example. So no decent, reasonable, rational, sane individual will waste their time talking to people like that. That is why Muslims in Speaker's Corner, we try to focus our attention to people who are sincere, genuine, and they at least know what we're talking about. If I was going to talk to you, and I know you have no idea of the subject matter, I'm not going to just keep on talking on the subject matter because you wouldn't have a clue what I'm talking about. You would be hearing Greeks and Chinese and Latin if you didn't know anything about the subject matter. So it is important that when you have a debate, your opponent knows about the subject. How can you debate an opponent who doesn't even know the difference between A and Z? That is why people, Muslims, for a reason, do not talk to this egotistical evangelists. That's the main reason. Did I not debate with their scholars, their prophets, their heroes in Speaker's Corner? Who have I avoided? Have I avoided anyone debating anyone in Speaker's Corner? Any individuals they think is a hero, I've debated them. But I'm not being egotistical. I have debated them, and you go and watch the debate. You make the judgment. And what was the true reality of the subject matter that was debated? Whether it was the Quran or the Bible or anything else. You be the judge. Based on what? Based on critical thinking. We want you to be critical thinkers when you analyze anything that you see in Speaker's Corner. Because we know there are a certain crowd who would believe in anything. If you believe God is a tomato, he'll say, yeah, hallelujah, God is a tomato. That is the level of people's blind faith and blind following. But Muslims are telling you to be critical thinkers. Because critical thinking is going to save you from the hellfire. The hellfire prepared for those arrogant and stubborn people like you have witnessed. Anyone who's stubborn and arrogant wants to deny the truth knowing it, there you go. You deal with it in the day of judgment. So what we have established then again, just to see, in Speaker's Corner, there are reasons why Muslim speakers avoid certain fruitcakes and big heads because they're not worth our time. We don't want to waste our time on people who are not going to be reasonable. You need to be reasonable to have a discussion with Muslims. If you're unreasonable, like this guy earlier on, rewind the tape and watch. He says, I'm crazy. He's talking about blah, 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 all this, I know. And I asked him, do you know what it means? He said, I don't. It's coming out from my mind. I'm crazy. By their self-confession. And you want to talk to people like that? Seriously? You want to speak to people who are crazy by their own admission? So this is why it's important. Take note, people. You think Muslims somehow are so afraid to talk with these individuals? Arrange a university debate. Professors and scholars and students on that debate hall. We will be happy to debate any of you. But you are not able to debate us in university setting, in any educational establishment. We know that. Because you will be seen as a fool by your own community. Like today, that will be established. That you don't know anything about radiocarbon dating, and you are now saying, oh, Mansur doesn't know about which manuscript, which surah, what's the Uthmanic. Am I going to just spoon feed him? I have a website called IslamicAwareness.org with our brothers and friends, Dr. Saifullah. We have put up the material there for your consumption, which is used by scholars themselves about Quranic manuscripts, about radiocarbon dating of Quranic manuscripts, and so on. And now you're telling me we don't know our subject matter? Dream on. Dream on. So if you don't want to learn from the academics that we have put the documents there in our website. They will be absolutely abundantly clear to you that your dreams will be shattered. So you bring in all these things, your heroes. Those of you who are Christians and are watching this on Muslim channel, this is a message to you. You are fanboys of your speakers, right? Do these things. Your speaker today said you can take any date within the range. Go and ask a scholar. Find a scholar on manuscripts, experts in radiocarbon dating, whether biblical or Quranic. Don't have to be Muslim scholar. Go find a Christian scholar or an atheist, liberal, secular scholar and ask them that question. Can we do that? Do you as scholars do that? And perhaps then you will learn your boy that you are now putting to represent you is a fool. He's not representing you because you can be represented by a fool. So go and ask about radiocarbon dating. Do you know why he didn't answer any of these questions? Because now next time he will say, I know, because it's in a Google app. But next time I'm going to ask him a different set of questions to see whether he really understands if he ever comes along, him or any of his Christian speakers in Speaker's Corner. I will ask you questions on subject matter to understand whether you know about it or not, something that you can't Google it. You can't simply just go and Google it because you won't find it in Google. That will establish whether you know about the subject matter or not. And yet you want to debate Muslims? Dream on. So Christians, when it comes to Islam, you know in your heart the Quran is preserved. You know it. So does the Western scholarship. But do you know why you want to talk about this? It's a deflection. You want to deflect it from your corrupt biblical transmission history. Because you don't know the Bible that you read is indeed preserved or not. The manuscript tradition that you have is so varied, so different. If you look at the gospel ending of Mark, for example, where did Mark end his gospel? Verse 8, verse 20, verse 35, where? Depends on which manuscript that you consult. Codex Washingtoniensis is a 5th century manuscript, which is a long ending. Did Mark write that? You know that he didn't. What would you say? Christian forgery. So Christians were forging books and calling them inspired by God. So you are establishing that there were mass scale distortion and alteration, corruption and forgery of the Bible by Christians themselves. They wrote the Gospel of the Ebionites. It's not in your Bible, is it? They wrote the Gospel of Infancy. It's not in your Bible, is it? They wrote the Gospel of Judas, Gospel of many Gospel, Mary, Gospel of Infancy. They wrote many other Gospels which are not within your 4 Gospel New Testament canon. What are you telling us about these Gospels? They were authored by people who are Christians, but they forged it in the name of God. Mass scale forgery. Your Christian people were forging, tampering, claiming that this is the book of God. This is the gospel of Jesus Christ. Historically established. No wonder, because of now your defeat in accepting this point, you have nowhere to now go. How can I be certain about the teaching of Christ? Because I don't know which gospel is true. You are saying maybe the Quran has the same problem. The Quran hasn't got the same problem. The Quran that we believe in is the Quran that is believed by every Muslim, whether they're Sunnis or Shias, Sufis or otherwise. We believe in that Quran. That is the level of preservation of our book. So if you're a Christian, you want to know about Islam, go and learn about it, rather than being spoon-fed misinformation, straw-manning our book and our faith by your Christian, foolish individual representing you in the Speaker's Corner. If you don't accept my word, go and find out about the carbon dating that I talked about. Why did he not answer any of the questions I asked? Simple. If you knew about it, you should have said so. Instead, he's asking me. I wasn't there, the one to be challenged about, do I know the subject matter? I never claimed that I know the subject matter of X, Y, and Z. I was disputing and challenging that this individual, the fool, didn't know anything about the subject matter. And I established that. Because if he answered it, he would have said, I do know. I do know. But did he answer? He didn't answer. What does it tell you? He knows about it? Go and watch some of his debates with other Muslims beforehand and look at the errors he's making about radiocarbon dating, like he did today. No shame! And being on camera telling the whole world, you can take any date in the middle, anywhere. Even alone, that point alone, your fun boy is destroyed. فَبُهِتَ الَّذِي كَفَرَ فَبُهِتَ الَّذِي كَفَرَ. This is how the kufr, the disbelief, is destroyed like that. If you are sincere, go watch someone else. If you're sincere, go read about it. Then you'll understand and appreciate where we are coming from. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر ولكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته to all our Muslim brothers and sisters, and thank you. And you're more than welcome, our friends who are not Muslims. You're more than welcome to watch us in Dawah Wise. This is me and Hashim's channel, and all the other Muslim channels that is recorded.